joining us. Hey Jess, it's good to see you here in the group. And so today we're just going to do a simple question and answer. We've got some questions, but if anybody who's watching has a question, I'm happy to answer those as well, as long as we're together. Hey Mindy Sue, Teresa May, good to see you guys. Some familiar names, it's good to see. Okay, so let's get started. Stephanie said, have a question about combining the history and geography courses. We are still in the middle of America's Story 1 and wanted to incorporate geography in there. Just wondered if that would be too much with 4 kids from kindergarten to 6th grade, or is there a recommended order to complete these classes? Thanks. And also, does Masterbooks have a course on the Constitution that could be used for younger children on grades 4 to 6? So I would definitely, you have enough room or capacity within our group to do a geography. If you're doing American Story 1, 2, or 3, you could do U.S. Geography and Social Studies. I think that would be great. You could do it at a slower rate, so you wouldn't necessarily have to do it at a, you could spread it out over a 3-year period, or you could do it on a regular level. But I think you have plenty of time because our courses don't overwhelm. So anyone who's watching, you're welcome to weigh in on that as well. I know U.S. Geography and Social Studies is a great one to do. I know some people will even do the Elementary U report, the Elementary World History U report as well, kind of like an elective. So you definitely, with Masterbooks, especially elementary level, you're not overwhelmed by any of the courses. So we want you to add, supplement, build on when it's appropriate. Hi to Miss Laura Wiersma, good to see you here. Rachel Birch, Carissa, hey Miss Carissa, and Miss Desiree. Yeah, hopefully today here in Arkansas is about 90, but there's no humidity. It's like perfect weather. If only we could have this kind of weather. I guess we need rain every once in a while. That's coming tonight. But still, it's like when you walk out, there's a nice breeze blowing. Feels like fall. Even though it's warm, it does feel fallish. Because usually in the summer here, it's like the humidity is so high, it just kind of drips off you. So, hi Sarah Beth, Jay, Alaya, Hannah, Madeline. So, all right, let's see, what do we got? Okay, next question is Melanie Brooks. So many great releases and updates. My November list is growing. Is there a list somewhere of everything that will be available by then? Also, for updates and releases, does or will Masterbooks do pre-orders? Usually, we don't make a big deal about the releases. I tend to do sneak peeks here, so like the best place, I slip a lot on projects that are coming. So this is a really good place to kind of get an update on some things. In fact, I'm going to cover some courses that are coming in the Academy. They're not available yet, but I am so stoked about them. So this is one of the best places to actually find out, what would you say, sneak peeks. We don't do pre-orders either because of free shipping and things like that. It ends up causing us a little bit of trouble, so we don't do pre-orders. We only put them on when the courses are available. So, okay. She says, I love Masterbooks curriculum, has shorter lessons. As someone who has used traditional Christian school curriculum for our homeschool, could you explain how shorter lessons are a benefit and how students retain the material? Yeah, that's a great question. I think Masterbooks does go outside the lines a lot when it comes to especially elementary students. We believe in a more holistic approach to education, in that sometimes you'll see families will want to get going with academics, and to them academics mean rote memorization. It means teaching them all the skills, teaching them to read, teaching them how to add, subtract, all of these things. And the issue that we would take with that is every child is different. especially up to like age 7, 8, 9, a child's abilities, their stamina, their skills, all of these things, it's a spectrum, right? I mean, we have 9 children. Every single child developed differently. Some were ready for math at age 4, others were ready for math at age 8. Like there was no one size fits all. And we think that, children catch up very quickly. So we don't need to take every 3 and 4-year-old, teach them algebra, because they're going to gain the skills. And so what I would say is we look at building the whole child. So what you'll find in our early programs are we're looking to develop the motor skills, small motor skills, large motor skills. We're helping to develop memory because you can't even do phonics really until you're able to remember 3 things, right? Like if I give you 3 numbers, you should be able to say them back to me. Why? Because in phonics, if I'm reading 3 sounds, I need to be able to remember the first, second, third sound, and then put them together. And so there's memory skills that have to be developed. It's not just, they don't get it because they're strong-willed. Sometimes it's just they don't have the skills yet developed to do that. So we would focus on those skills, like memory building skills and asking them to do recall and things like that. Stamina is a big one. A lot of times we want to take a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old and we want them to be able to sit like an adult. Although I would question now, even in our day and age, adults should be the most empathetic to 4 and 5-year-olds. We are so used to being entertained, stimulated, something going off all the time, that it is hard to just sit. It's hard to focus. I'm forcing myself to have to go back to read physical books because we're so used to having constant bombardment of information coming our way. What I want to happen is that we have, I'm trying to get my focus. Well, we take a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old who hasn't developed the stamina yet to sit and focus or concentrate, and we want them to focus. And so what we do is we develop the whole child first. Then we work with shorter lessons. We like application-based learning. There's rote memorization, where you can have a student learn addition facts. Let's go up a little bit to skills. Long division. We're going to have a student do long division. We're going to teach them the concepts. The way I learned it in school was we had to do an entire booklet, about 60 pages of long division problems, and then a test. If I got an 80% on the test, it meant I knew long division, and we could move on. Like, it was called a mastery type program. Okay, so let's take and apply that same concept to a student learning to walk. If I said to my student, hey, it's time to walk. We're going to do this until we master walking. That's what we're going to do. We're going to continue it every day, and we're just going to sit here. We're going to do it for hours. We're going to just keep going, right? Stand them up, let's go. Stand them up, let's go. Keep doing it until you get it. Until you get it, we're not moving forward. That's not the way we taught our kids to walk. One day, they stood up on the couch, right? Yay! We were happy with that. They were beginning to learn from that walking concept. They began to learn their balance. They were learning how to gauge distance. They were gaining muscle skills to do that. Like their whole body was learning to walk, and the first step was just standing. And so they did that. A day later, maybe a week later, maybe a month later, we noticed that while they were standing at the couch, they were lifting their hands and beginning to balance on their own. Yay, we applauded that, because now all of a sudden they were learning, they had developed a new skill, and they were developing the muscles and the balance and all of the things that it takes to walk. Then they would take a step, maybe a couple of steps. Now, we would never tell that student, you're a failure because you don't know how to walk, if they just stood up against the couch, or we had spent an entire day, right? What happens to our kids if we took an entire day and said we're going to learn to walk? Their legs would give out. They would become frustrated. They would sit there and cry. And we could say, this child is strong-willed just like their other parent, right? We could say maybe they have a walking disability, which they could, but generally that's not the case. Generally, They're developing. That's how we build skills. Maybe the child takes 3 steps and falls and face plants. We don't call that child a failure. What we do is we say, that's part of learning to walk, right? You learn that you can't go too far forward. You can't go too slow or too fast. You have to find balance and a rhythm. And so, yay, 3 steps and a fall. That was better than no steps at all. That was a rhyme. I can do that. All right. Kind of see the logic of when we teach a child something, we're patient with them when we teach them something like walking. And then we come to something like math, and we have this whole different concept that learning is different because it's all about just writing down numbers. It's not. It's about motor skills. It's about memory. It's about stamina. It's about the ability to focus. As they get higher, it's the ability to do abstract thinking and application. And so we really work on a more cognitive approach and a more physical approach to learning. Part of short lessons is it doesn't overwhelm a child that's younger. If they can do the lesson, and then we have spaced repetition so that they're going to come back to that topic, or they're going to use that again as they apply that knowledge. Because applied knowledge is often retained knowledge. Where rote memorization gives you the recall, applied knowledge helps you transfer that knowledge or use that knowledge later because you understand it in the context. I can give you a list of words and ask you to memorize those words, and then I'm going to quiz you on those words. Chances are you would, but it's so much more powerful when I give you a context and say this list of words applies to this subject, and I read, it comes from the definition in this concept, right? The story that the words are in mean more because it's an applied approach. And so that's just something to keep in mind, is that the applied learning that Masterbooks does is an approach to helping a student be able to contextualize the information that they're learning. Now, the other thing that we want is if your child is ready for more, they can do more, do more. Give them more stimulation. Do a field trip about what you're learning, or practice learning the skills. If you're learning how to measure, go and measure things around the house. Don't just limit it to textbooks. Textbooks are such a small part of the learning experience. It's for all of life. Textbooks are the starting place. They're not the end. And sometimes we get books that are curriculum that's so complicated, right? Because it gives you, you can spend hours. Somebody was telling me about a math curriculum it was just yesterday, I think we were talking about it. A math curriculum, and it's for like 5-year-olds. That is 90 minutes. It takes them 90 minutes to complete this math curriculum for a 5-year-old. I couldn't do that. Maybe you could. I can't do that. And I couldn't sit there with a 5-year-old for 90 minutes. Like, it's just not practical. To me, that's cruel. Because what we need to do, say with math, we need to prepare them, right? The standard, the gold standard of math basically is we're going to do algebra in 9th grade. Can a student do algebra in 9th grade? And is that what they're prepared to do? If you can do that, you've done well. Well, I believe we have one of the best algebra curriculums on the market in the Jacobs Algebra. And now with the video courses done by Kate Loop in the Masterbooks Academy, hands down, best algebra curriculum on the market. And the same with geometry. Students that go through Masterbooks curriculum have no problem going into the algebra. They are well prepared. And what you see is it starts off where students aren't doing heavy lessons in elementary school. It gives you a lot of room and freedom. It helps inspire the joy of learning. It gives them the application of the information. And then as they go into 7th and 8th grade, the information begins to intensify, and it prepares them for high school level courses. So rather than expecting high school level abilities of concentration and abstract thinking and stamina and motor skills and all of that, we take a more developmental approach to helping students. If you're a parent who work harder, not smarter type, you can do that. But so many times in my life, I like work smarter, not harder. Like, I don't need to do something 1,000 times if I can do it once or twice. And and get it done. And so we try to stay away from a lot of that rote memorization and a lot of the drill and kill type method that some people are so fond of. So let's see, a question came in. To piggyback off the last question, can you provide guidance or ideas to enrich science and history so that it's captivating and alive for students? Particular to a 5th grade boy this year. So we're using American History 3 and probably bound around with science between paleontology and some of the science centers. One of the best is to go into the real world and experience it. So if there's something that you're studying with paleontology and you have something that has, like when we lived in Western New York, we would go to Niagara Falls. We would go and discover, there were some, they call them like rock cities in the area, so we would go and do those. We would go down into a big gorge that we had, and we would do fossil hunting and tried to look for some different things and then identify, what we were seeing. So we kind of took the knowledge that we had and brought it to life. With history, same thing. We've enjoyed just watching, recently we've been watching a series together on food, history of food, and watching the icons, watching how Oreos came to life, or how the Pepsi and the Cola Wars. Just interesting to see how the icons were going through that time period of history, how the war affected things like M&Ms and Mars and different candies and stuff like that. So we're able to say, well, this is what we're learning, and this is really interesting because now as we're watching this show on the history of Oreos, we can see, man, that fit right into this time period. This is what people had. And that. In our community in Western New York, there was something called Genesee Country Village, where they actually had houses from all different time periods of Western New York. And before they would tear them down, they would take them down carefully, bring them to this village, set them up. And so you could see log cabins, you could see Victorian-style houses. There was just a lot of different houses set up like they would have been. And so that was great for history too, because you could kind of identify, wow, this would have been from the early 1800s, and this was more of a Civil War time period house and what people had for toilets and lighting and water and all of that. So I think those are really good ways, especially with history, to make it come alive. Is just get out there. Okay, we learned about this. Maybe take a trip, and as you go through, we have Route 66 not far from us, and so that's part of the history course. So we talk a lot every time we go on Route 66 for a bit. We talk about it and connect it to what we were learning. I guess connections. Look for natural connections outside of the school experience. If you know somebody who's participated in a world event, be great if you know somebody who maybe was a child during the Depression or went through, family members who were part of the wars, and just talking to them, or maybe what it was like to live. A grandparent, what was it like to live in the 70s or the 60s, or, kind of that thing, to have just connections. We're looking to build connections. So if you can take the information that you have and build application and connection, it makes it so much easier to retain that information, but not only retain it, but to use it in the future. Okay. Tristy, I was wondering, is there a way to get the teacher's guide's 3-hole punch? I like to break things down and use my own binding, and the holes are not very friendly for that, so I end up using a 3-ring binder. I know buying the PDF would avoid the holes, but I prefer to buy the books. Yeah, unfortunately, our printed books are done in one format. We try to get the best perforation we can, and 3-hole punch is done as a convenience. And then beyond that, if the best way to customize it with a solid sheet of paper would be printing off your own, which, I understand the physical books are better, but what we've looked at is we've surveyed and tried to understand how do our customers, the majority of our customers, use the materials, and what's the best format to also warehouse, ship, and work with. And so that's something that we do. So those are the only questions I have. I'll keep watching. If anybody else has any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. The Catch On to Cursive is available, and the preview is there. The digital course is there. I absolutely love the course. I think it's an outside the box course that looks at so much more. It looks at the development of the child and helps develop the child for writing. And I think that it's absolutely brilliant. And compared to the way I had to learn to write, which was painful, there are even tips in the course for left-handed writers versus right-handed writers. We sent it out for testing and did some beta testing on it, and everyone loved the course and really liked the approach, even though it's not what you get if you went to a department store and bought a course. We didn't want that. We wanted a course that really helped a student understand it. So let's see, the new cursive course, do you think I could use it with my second grader? I think you could. It's designed more third grade and up. If you had a second grade student that was really interested in advanced and had good motor control, just be careful not to push it. If it's something that she was doing naturally, I would watch it just that way, right? Like anything. If a 4-year-old wants to do multiplication, why would you hold them back? As long as they're not developing, bad habits and stuff that you'll have to correct down the road or that they'll have to live with. My handwriting was horrid, and because I was on task, I had to do it, but I wasn't necessarily developmentally ready, I don't think, when it was introduced. And that created, you move along. You accept that student is an F student or a D student. You have A students, they have awesome handwriting, he has poor handwriting, and you just push everybody along. I wish that when those connections were being made, teachers would have been a little bit brighter about child development, at least my teachers at that time. Okay, so also let's talk a little bit about the Academy. We have a new music theory course. It's no joke. It's a great course. Students will learn a lot, and that would be ideal for a high school student. We are also developing an elementary level, a little bit more basic of a course as well. So if you have a student who's interested in music or music theory, that I would highly recommend the music theory course. And I believe David, the instructor, has where you can go and get a digital keyboard on a phone or a tablet, so you can practice and test the different sounds and triads and chords and scales and all of those that you're learning. That's a great course. The sign language course is coming, so that's being put together. I think that's going to be phenomenal. I'm really excited. This is a sneak peek. Don't tell anyone I told you, because when the customer service people get emails saying, I heard there was going to be this course, they're always like, who is out there talking about this course? I just stay quiet in the corner, but because I'm a quiet person. Okay, we have a teacher who the Lord provided this teacher, and she's going to be doing an elementary Spanish for families. And I think that this approach is so cool. We were kind of brainstorming, right? Because my kids have taken different Spanish courses and different things, and they just don't retain it. And it's hard because as parents, I don't understand if they were talking Spanish. How would I couldn't understand them. So what I said is, what if you developed a course that was like, you come into my home and you teach my family basic Spanish. Here's madre, here's padre, here's the dog, whatever a dog is in Spanish, and a cat, and here's your couch, and then we expand to the kitchen, and let's cook a meal, a Spanish meal. So this is how fluent my Spanish is. We do tacos and burritos and salsas and hamburger, like all those Spanish words that you would use for meat and stuff like that. So, man, I don't know hardly any Spanish. Tostadas. Yeah, she talks very Spanish. She has an awesome approach to teaching, and she's taught. She does tutoring for some high profile people as well. So I'm really excited about it because it's going to give an awesome approach, because instead of just the child learning a few Spanish words, the family will be practicing, like, let's cook a meal in Spanish together and begin using those words. And so the whole family, Desiree, I like your husband. He speaks Taco Bell Spanish. Me too. I can barely speak Taco Bell Spanish because everybody corrects me when I'm there. So I'm excited by that course. So that course should be coming. It'll probably be a 2022 course, but she's already begun working on it and has the lesson plan down, so that's exciting. So a couple of the courses that are in the works and should be coming online. Anybody who's using Masterbooks Academy, can you tell me if you're using Masterbooks Academy? And if you are, we would love if you would just go into the app, or if you're in the moms group as well, and just let people know that you're using the course, and if you like it, what you like about it. I think the Masterbooks Academy courses take Masterbooks traditional courses to a new level by really removing friction points, making it come alive. The courses like the elementary paleontology course, Brian does an amazing job of bringing that course to life. And it's a fun course, but then to have the videos on top of it, I love that. And so, yes, Summer just reminded me, we're going to be doing some Masterbooks Academy posts where we're asking people to talk about, share your Masterbooks game changer moments. And I think the amount is like 50,000 reward points, which is like a $50 award on those posts. So if you see them, jump on them. Be sure to let us know that you're using them. Yes, Jess, Principles of Mathematics, that course is really good. Now, some people think they have to watch every video. My kids don't. They watch like videos that are more entertaining, like the elementary paleontology would be one where they would probably want to watch it. With like Principles of Math, they watch the lessons where they're struggling or need to. Other people like watching the whole thing. So you can kind of use it to best serve your needs. I mean, we've tried to keep everything priced really affordably, and make it, there's 18 months to use a course, so you've got some time if it spills over into another year. But I'm excited about it, and excited about every time we're kind of thinking we need something, the Lord tends to bring somebody in. And I love the fact that I can get courses in that wouldn't translate, like, the base elementary Spanish for families, or basic Spanish for families would be one of those things that would be difficult to put into a book and try to do it as a family, but by being able to put it into the video course. Yes, we have a photography course coming too. And I've learned a lot. I've gone through and done the previews of the digital PDF of it and the videos, and just from a perspective of graphic design and marketing, I've learned a lot from that course. So I think that's going to be a great course as well. So that's coming soon. I don't know, Summer, if I've missed anything, but I probably have. But those are a few courses that should be coming online. Oh, Wowza Brain. We're working on Wowza Brain right now. We've got, Summer is building those courses in the Academy. And those are for students who struggle to get, with some different training concepts, reading, those type of thing. Wowza gives a lot of tips and tools to help a child develop the brain. So those are good. Yep, some are Wowza Brain, music theory. And I think the music theory is live, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, God's Design. The author of the God's Design series is working on those. I think she started with the physics course first, if I'm not mistaken on that. She started with the higher one first. So that should be coming online. Yeah, we got a lot of good courses coming. So, and then the ones that we've gone live with just recently as well. The phys ed, if you're doing phys ed, those are fun. I've heard fun reports of students doing the phys ed courses, and I think that that's something that I think it's something that's valuable for the homeschool community to have. I think it was lacking for most of my children when they were homeschooled, because we would do individualized things, and that these kids who do this course can actually train and prepare for the presidential physical fitness test and be able to do that. So that's awesome to be able to do that as well. Yeah. Sandra, the games are really fun. Is that part of the phys ed course that you're talking about? Let's see, I wish Masterbooks Academy would be a Roku app channel. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Unfortunately, we have the limits of the delivery system that we have in the with Masterbooks Academy, and being able to manage that, and also like some of the courses that are coming may be a bit more interactive with testing and grading and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be just the videos. Doesn't mean that down the road we may not be able to put them on another platform, but right now in the Academy, especially, if you know Masterbooks at all and you followed us, you know that we growth hack things. We put something out there and we see what's working, and we do more of what's working. What isn't working, we stop and continue to test and refine, test, refine, build. And that's how Masterbooks, I think, is becoming one of the best curriculums on the market, is that we are aggressively listening to the feedback we get, working to improve our courses, and then making sure that we provide information that we have, like the Masterbooks Academy, to help any friction points that may be caused throughout the course, and then to have groups like this and the videos, because the more information we can provide, the more assistance and help and realistic expectations we put out there, the happier our customers are. So awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today. It's been fun to connect with you guys. It's been a while. We've done the webinars. Well, we did the summit. Summit was a huge undertaking. If you didn't get to participate in the summit, be sure to go to Masterbooks Academy, register, doesn't cost anything, and then sign up for the summit. The entire summit is at the Masterbooks Academy. You can watch all the videos, you can see previews and hear the authors and all the information. The coaches had some great discussions. So you can get all of that at the masterbooksacademy.com for free. So that doesn't cost anything. And so we did the summit, and then we've done some webinars. We're going to continue to do some webinars because I really enjoy inviting in a panel and having other people besides myself discuss things. I think it gives more well-rounded information. And so we'll continue to do that, but I'll be doing this as well. So anyways, thank you everybody for being part of this community and giving us the honor and the privilege of being able to serve you. When I look back over my time in life, one of the things I will be most grateful for is that I got to be part of this community and that I got to participate in kingdom work alongside your families, and knowing that you guys are raising the giant slayers, and that just motivates us beyond belief. So we appreciate you and what you do. All right, guys, God bless you, and we will talk to you later. Bye.